This is the night one.
The nighttime.
This is the,
Okay.
like I literally was trying to do everything I could to get the last little bit out of it last night. It's just I love the frequency of it. It's one of those products that for me, skincare is not something that is like first and foremost. So it has to be simple. I love how simple it is. I love that there's not 15 different products that I have to somehow do in A, B, C, D, six, and then do some crazy thing. And
Right.
very, very simple process. I love the frequency. It's like you put it on, you feel it. Like I go to sleep feeling like I feel like my skin is going to be better and richer in the morning. So I just that's what I love the most about it. It's so you can actually feel it when it goes on. The serum, second.
Right. The ones you like pretty can feel it just even using the skincare because there's that little green bead in every jar that you found on all of those that like really imprints that frequency and activates the ingredients more, brings out those active ingredients so that they do better repair and go deeper and have healthier skin cells grow to the surface of the skin. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so I love that you can, you put it on, you can actually feel that frequency aspect of it.
It's actually a product that I crave to go to in the morning and at night, and just it's the first time that these lines have started to go away, that some of the pregnancy mask has started to go away, and nothing's ever really done that before. So
We talk about the natural facelift system as a system. A lot of times people are like, oh, I'm not ready for that. But it's way more than that with the active ingredients. And it's so specific that in women, I mean, like you said, since
yeah,
you're 17 and 19,
yeah,
right? Right. So you've had that hormone, that pregnancy mask, that dark hormone line.
for sure here, because it's the side that you're on the car. So
Mhm.
a lot of the age spots and all this, and they're starting to calm down. Whereas before, I used to have to do different treatments to even be beginning to touch them.
Serum.
Yep.
All of those have super active ingredients, and the serum in particularly helps for the dark spots. It has, yeah, it has a few like major players in it. One
Mhm.
is one that's called Osteolift. So that actually is where you feel when you use this, you feel that tightening. It's not a bleach. So many things that go over promise your dark spots going away. They're actually bleaching the skin. I know it's really kind of scary. Uh, but what this does is it actually repairs from the inside out. So it's helping to get rid of inflammation. It's helping to get rid of the hormone imbalance, helping to detox the cells. So being able to use the whole protocol will also enhance that when you are using the wand with that, 30 days that we're going to do. Acupuncture points, we're hitting all of the different facial expressions that kind of get frozen on our face from like disappointment, anger,
Yeah.
stress, worry. I mean, what mom doesn't have worry, right? Like you said, you like it simple, right? You like the protocol simple. I am the same way. When I was developing this, that was kind of a key thing for me is like, I was like, do I need a toner? Do I need, it's like, you know what? Simple. And the whole idea of not having like an oily skin, dry skin, uneven skin is because any of those, whether it's a lesion, whether it's acne, whether it's rosacea, whether it's uneven skin tone, color, and oil, all
Mhm.
that says to me is that your cells are unhealthy. So that's the whole background of the protocol and the skincare is that it repairs the cells on those deeper levels so that the cells that come to the surface are healthier and tuned to the frequency, the vibration of a healthy functioning 24-year-old cell, right? That all those skin issues that I just mentioned
Mhm.
all been out with just using the protocol consistently. The scrub, which is definitely one of my favorites because yeah, if you don't take off the dead skin cell layer, then what happens is you don't get good product penetration. This is the most misunderstood product because it's like one, understanding the value, and two, it has jojoba beads in it, which are like perfectly round esters that
Mhm.
like that get smoother with the water so that they're not scratching the surface of the skin and they're not causing micro abrasions, which your body has to defend itself against.
Okay. I think perception that most people have, or at least I know a lot of my patients have, of like, but it's got to clean off that, and it has to scratch in order to do that. So that's not accurate.
Yeah, no. In fact, actually, if you think about it, it causes micro scarring. The body has to defend itself. If you have micro scratching, you get micro defense, micro scarring, and then you have that loss of elastin, and that's what kind of gives that leathery, superficial
Mm-hmm.
skin, is because your body's trying to protect itself. So the key is that using enough, because it's like a uh, beads per square inch, if
Okay.
you will, right? You can use an entire teaspoon
Mm-hmm.
twice a week, and this will last 60 days. A teaspoon is quite a bit.
Yeah.
What I do is I'll take like a scoop of it, and I'll put a teaspoon next to it, for a few applications so I can get a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what I do to make sure that I'm actually getting the areas, is I will put blobs of it, dabs of it, got like blobs all over my face, right? So now I'm counting to 10 seconds in every single area. 10 seconds around the nose, making sure you get up on the bridge of the nose, around the edge, around the crevices of the nose. The mouth is really important because those
Yeah.
are that smoker's line. Because remember, we're talking about taking off the dead skin cell layer that's unnecessary, that prevents a product absorption. So this is all about product absorption. So when you're thinking, with this, is like clear the dead skin cells so I have better product absorption, right? So mouth, cheeks, in front of the ears, in the earlobes, because that shows age of the earlobe, right? People are missing that. And then coming up onto the forehead and the eyebrows, you can do the eyebrows. The only thing you really want to avoid with this one, unlike the other ones, is that you don't want beads in your eyes. So, you don't want to do it around like the skin on the eyes.
Okay.
And making sure, if you don't have enough, you grab a little bit more for the neck, because this is definitely an area. And if you need some repair, definitely go ahead and, I don't know if you've seen the before and afters on the chest. In fact, you know whose chest that is our Dr. Terry.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, but amazing, because, she's a little sun goddess, right? So she had all these really deep crevices and lines and, folds and very, very sun damaged. And
Yeah.
if you show that to a dermatologist, they'd be like, you're going to have to do laser chemical peels.
Yeah.
There's no way you would get results with just using skincare. And she did.
Excellent.
So yeah, amazing.
Nice.
So this is 2 to 3 times a week. If you've got a lot of dead skin cell, or maybe like some areas that you feel like are losing elastin and collagen, a lot of times for women, it's right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can do, the 3 times a week where you're focusing more on those areas.
Okay.
And then this is daily. So morning and evening.
Yeah.
No, not everybody's great about morning, and you don't have to even use as much in the morning, but our skin does detox at night. So it's ideal to use this morning and night because the enzymes in it, it has natural fruit enzymes
Okay.
to, help cut the dirt, and grime off of our face and toxicity. You can do the protocol morning or evening. I like what you said about the evening, because I think this is like, happy hour for your body kind of moment, where you are, enriching your life in a process that helps you to down regulate, get into parasympathetic. You're touching all kinds of acupuncture points with this. It's very, very relaxing. So when you go to sleep, your sleep is better. And that's what I hear all the time. I sleep better. I don't have headaches. I, fall asleep easier. It's more sound. I wake up after 7 hours. I feel refreshed. So those are all pluses.
Those are all good things.
So at night, if I'm doing the protocol, I'm going to start with the night cream. It has beautiful slip to it, so it's really easy to use with the wand. The initial part of the protocol is actually counterintuitive, because we're actually going down
Yeah.
instead of up. Right.
But
Yeah.
then, oh, we got to get the lymphatics moving.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. Right. But it's about being super, super gentle.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's so like when I hold the wand, it's like super loose in my hand. when you put the product on, you should have enough slip to be able to like open up those lymphatics. And I have that 9-minute video that I'll share with you,
Mhm.
where you can stop and start it. You have the brochure that has, when you get more comfortable, you have the brochure that you can follow the steps. The video is great just because I'm going a little slower. I'm talking about how many times with how many rotations.
Mhm.
Today, what we'll do initially on the lymphatics, super light. When you put the product on, it's super, exactly, perfect. So you're not pulling the skin at all when you go around and move those lymphatics down into those portals, so it
Mhm.
can drain and your system can get rid of that. So this is kind of like start from the bottom and move up rather than the top and move down. I want to open as I go up. So, right. So opening the lymphatics is first, that's the 10 rotations, and then going down on the neck to move the lymphatics in that direction, doing that jawline where the fat tends to, I usually hold my hand like this, but so you can see it. So it's across like this. And now as you go down, like on the cheeks, it's very, very gentle where I'm actually using like a good part of the wand like this so that I'm not dragging the tip. So I'm using the edge of the tip to go down through the face. And this is actually the faster part where you can, go through that on both sides pretty quickly.
Yeah.
The next is moving up on the eyelid and that lower eyelid. And this is where I'm actually leaning it on my cheekbone so that I'm not dragging the skin. I'm actually leaning the wand on my cheekbone and moving those lymphatics under the eyes. And then same thing above the eye, where on that eyelid and then coming down and then draining the forehead. So that's working from the eyebrow all the way up into the hairline while
Mhm.
we drain the lymphatics that way.
Yeah.
So, okay, so now on the lengthening, lifting part, this is about, putting a little bit more pressure because the problem is that the neck is holding up this bowling ball
Mhm.
and if these muscles become tight. And that's where all the sagging and creping and pulling, because these muscles attach right here. So the muscles come up and attach to the jaw right here. That pulls that down where we get the sagging jaw as well.
Mhm.
So we're loosening the muscles first, lengthening, not
Okay.
loose, lengthening. Beautiful ballerina neck. So, and this is where I put a little bit more pressure and I'm making sure I go back because don't remember the SCM attaches
Mhm.
here, right? So I'm making sure I get far enough back as well. And then when I'm over the throat, I usually tell people, so you already know to avoid your thyroid and but a lot of times have people put their hand over that. So they still get these lines right here and they can do that, but they're not injuring their this area right here. So when you think about it, it's imprinted with frequencies. We're touching acupuncture points. It has the frequencies in it are balancing the acupuncture meridians, balancing the hormones, balancing, everything in your body. So 100%. Now the second area that's really tight is around the mouth, right? The chin, and that's what we call like that chin that turns up. We call it the witch's chin, but this area turns up, these areas pull down, and we get these deep lines right here. So this is about lengthening muscles around your mouth as well. The smoker's line,
Mhm.
constantly pursing the lips. So that's also a muscle that needs to lengthen. So we're still on lengthening. So on here, I like to anchor because that way I'm not pulling the skin that's already folded right there. So I'm anchoring and you can actually feel where the muscle is tight. And now on the next part, you're going to go on the upper part of the lip. And when you do this part, you want to go across and work your way. This is not an area where I find that I need to anchor. Yeah, but wherever you feel like you need to. But this is an area where this muscle is pretty big. So
Mhm.
so you can definitely work your way up underneath the nose. You'll see some people as they age, they'll get a line right here. So this is about lengthening this whole area there. The next step on 10 is about that. This is where we get the lift and the pop and the apple. This is about getting rid of this line right here. So this is 4 different lines like this. So corner of the eye, pupil, outside corner of the eye, and the cheekbone. So you're starting from the lip, sliding up and
Mhm.
holding for 10 seconds. And this is the only place or the one primary place where holding for 10 seconds makes a difference.
Okay.
And then the other is if you, a lot of times it's because it's pulling down from muscles being like tight, being dragged down. Sometimes what happens is that we can't quite get up underneath it like that. Yeah, you're pretty good right there. Some people, it'll pop over
Mhm.
because the muscle is really tight, but you do want to just kind of gently push up that muscle because we're talking about the muscle and the fat, everything underneath the skin, holding for 10 seconds on each one of those and hold for 10 seconds. And then moving out to that last one. So this is actually, so do you see when you're doing this, it actually leaves an imprint in your skin?
Mhm.
Right? That's part of repairing the elastin. So that will stop your skin will replump where you won't see that. That's that indication of a little loss of elastin. A lot of people see that and they go, what is that? Why is that? Why do I have lines? Why is it pulled like that? It's like, that's just because a youthful cell bounces back. As we age, we lose that. When you do this, it's about re-imprinting those frequencies of that youthful, plump, healthy cell. So yeah, so holding for 10 seconds on that last one on that cheekbone, and then coming out on the right in front of the ear. And this one doesn't have that same amount of fat on it and muscle, so you won't get as much on a lift on that, but I'm holding at the top of that tragus and then sweeping because this also wraps up into the scalp right here. So I'm lift, hold, and then just finish by sweeping into the scalp. Perfect. Yeah. And then you want to make sure you're right in front of that ear because that's also where the skin tends to, yeah, yeah, literally jaw corner, right in front of the ear, hold, lift. Okay. Now this is on that working on the upper part of the face is remember tight muscles first, lengthening those muscles and then lifting, right?
Yeah.
So this is my weak spot because I make a lot of facial expressions and things like that. When I squinch my eyebrows together, you can actually see how it pulls the eyebrow down. So
Mhm.
that eyebrow down that a lot of people end up doing Botox for is all about really relaxing this muscle and getting rid of those 11s and the lines across the forehead. So first is lengthening the muscles in between. I like to go up and down here because this is my tightest muscle and I can, it feels like a massage, making sure that I'm hitting right here because that's that muscle that pulls the eyebrow down. So you're going into the corner of that eyebrow. This is also one where I also, like I like to hold it on edge because I don't want to slip off my nose, right? Poke my eye. I don't want to do that. So I'm holding the edge and I'm kind of, yeah, exactly. And then I'm just going from eyebrow corner, cross that to the next corrugator, eyebrow, and up and down. And then loosening the muscle on the forehead is about sweeping from this corner of the eyebrow, sweeping into the hairline, because this muscle really wraps. So sweeping into the hairline, and I love the way this feels. This feels like it's actually, relaxing my forehead where my face feels like it's, more relaxed and more chilled. Okay. And then once you finish the lengthening, now it's about lifting. So again, you don't want to be on the eyelid, on the lower, it's on the cheekbone around and lift and hold from the nose on the cheekbone, lift and hold. And from
Like
those to say that one more time.
center of the nose.
Right in the, yeah, right where they meet and hold. Now the upper eyelid is about getting also to the corner of the eye, a corner like right at the nose, because that muscle you want to lift. And this is one where people will just sweep. This is not about sweeping. This is about lifting. So right here, you're doing a lift, 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 lift. So your eye actually looks kind of funny here and lifting that outside corner of the eye. And when you do this one, especially if you've done it a few times and you have some cellular memory, when you finish and you look at the camera, you can see that eyebrow popped,
Awesome.
right?
Hmm?
So here's the pro tip. The pro tip is if you have a weak side, when you're doing the lifting part, like on the cheek and the eyes,
Yes.
start with your weak side, do your opposite side, and come back and do your weak side. So
Okay.
on step 10, which is a lifting, yeah, I start here. Say that.
This is definitely my neurologically weaker side.
Right. So you'll do step 10 on your left side,
And
and
then,
then go to your opposite side, and then do step 10 again on that side. And when you're doing around the eyes, start on your weak side, and then do your stronger side, and then go back to your weak side. And my genetic eye drop that I was supposed to have surgery for years ago.
Mhm.
I have never obviously had surgery for that. And by doing that, I've evened out my eyebrows because I'm focusing a little bit more on my, like you said, neurological weak side. So then the last step is the serum. So with the serum, you're doing a couple of pumps of the serum, putting it all over your face, making sure you're getting it in front of your ear and around your mouth. And this is the one where you're doing the flicking. So this is the last step on the 15. It's kind of like the artist flick. So you're flicking that. And what I love about this is that as the serum is being penetrated, you can really feel the tightening of that. And you can almost feel like when you finish and
Mhm.
you've done both sides, you're like, oh, I can still feel an area. Oh, I need to do this area. I didn't get close. You can feel. So that's the protocol. Now,
Okay.
in the morning, if you're not doing the protocol, you're going to cleanse your face and you're going to do the serum first because serums generally go closest to the skin. Then you do your day cream.
Okay.
The reason why we do the serum at the end at night is because we have so much product penetration when we do the protocol. We are absolutely getting product penetration with that serum doing it at the end.
Do you ever do the back of the neck? Because a lot of people say that we tend to sag this way because the back of the neck is not being handled. So,
And I developed the body stone because of the lymphatics, draining the lymphatics of the brain,
mhm.
and all of the lymphatics back here, which are like you're saying, there's a lot.
Yeah.
And I keep a stone by my bed at night.
Mhm.
Uh, they come in these great little boxes with a QR code that has the videos on it, by the way. Um, I keep one of these next to my bed because I have one in the bathroom and one next to my bed. The one in the bathroom is just for general lymphatic drainage, the protocol, because we should all be doing something
Mhm.
for, getting our lymphatics repaired. It's imprinted for lymphatic repair, but the idea is that it's not brushing and it's not gua sha. It's
Yeah.
somewhere in between, right?
Okay.
So, and it's imprinted for repair. So the protocol is about same thing like on the face, opening the lymphatics and then draining it towards it. Open the lymphatics of the groin, draining it towards it, and getting rid of that like belly fat where we tend to store toxins.
Yes.
Great for that protocol right there.
Okay.
At night, I do the scalp part of the protocol where I'm opening the lymphatics on my upper neck and back, and then going down my neck and then sweeping through my scalp because as you well know, is the only time that the brain really detoxes is when we're sleeping.
Is when we're sleeping. Mhm.
Right. So that's what I use for that. Now, can you use the wand? Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I just figured we're already there, so I wasn't sure if you ever did that. Okay, cool.
Smart. It's smart. I mean, you're thinking how can I use this to the benefit of my whole body, right?
Is there any way outside of just, I'd say the majority of my women, I see a lot of, everyone's going in through menopause with all the more toxins and more toxins and more toxins. People are aging so much faster. Um, is there anything else that you would add to, do differently in order to, outside of just doing the amazing protocol that you already put together, to
Yeah.
just really help support just that extra drainage, that extra support on
Yeah.
the career
Yeah.
we live in?
Yeah. So for starters, on like there's two aspects of the whole menopause thing because you are 100% right. This is the area where we need to activate a lot of things. One of them being the detox and the draining, right? Because you got to take it out, otherwise the cell has no room to absorb anything else, and it kills the cell early, which is the premature aging that you're talking about, right?
Like you just go for in 2 years, you go from normal to like, what in the world just happened to my face?
There's no doubt that we have cellular changes when we go through menopause. And when you look at like the degeneration of like, for example, collagen, and even at pregnancy and delivery and labor, those are all things that actually I mean, you have hormones that actually relax the ligaments on purpose so you can give birth. Those don't rebound on our face as easily as we would like them to. By the time we are in perimenopause, we've lost more than 30% of our ability to produce collagen. It decreases every year past, birthing age, and it decreases and decreases, and then it amplifies after with menopause. So this is the thing, is that it's one of the reasons why I developed the body stone. I'm a big proponent of it because it balances, repairs, not just the lymphatic system, but the fascia. And the fascia is a collagen producing machine. And the lymphatic system delivers all of those collagen information, which is that we want lymphatic drainage and we want to be able to get rid of the toxins so that we can repair those. But the key thing is, and which is why I think you really like the energy component of it and that resonating frequency of it, is that like a tuning fork, the idea is with the energy and the frequency that I'm using a frequency that the body understands, and it can start to replicate what it's being exposed to. So like tuning fork, where you can vibrate a tuning fork and bring one of the same frequency close to it. And without even touching it, that tuning fork will pick up that vibration and start ringing as well. And that's very much how the skin works, is that as we age, it loses its tone and it needs some information, and that's energy medicine. It's why you do so many of the things you do in your office that facilitate healing, is because that's energy medicine and frequencies that are retuning the cells to act youthful. So that's exactly why you do all of those therapies. And this is the therapy imprinted with the frequency and the messaging that speaks the language of the cells of the body. It has biophoton vibration. So bio, body, or life, photon, light, that is our body. So I go through this long scientific methodical process to make reagents that are imprinted into those little green beads and all the tools that then I can go through another process to get that to like speak the carbon language, or the the biophoton language of our body.
You're the bomb. I've learned more. I was like, oh, wow, it does that and that. Oh. Let's do the steps, very simple steps, which it's so hard because we naturally go, well, if it's going to work, it's got to be hard. And I just love that you have not done that. You put together a really amazing protocol.
Well, thank you. And I think that it's because I am my barrier as well. Like you're talking about, I am my barrier. It's like, how do I put this in people's hands that they can use it? It's intuitive, it's comfortable, it's easy, it's relaxing, it nurtures ourselves, and it's not complicated. A lot of times people go, so how old are you? We have to ask, right? I mean, I'm 65 this year.
You're rocking it too.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's not something you would normally say, but I feel like I look better now than I did when I was 49 before I started this project.